Hi, guys. I hope you're doing great. Welcome to this week's message. We are here, obviously, not in Paris. We're in Las Vegas, Nevada. Just finishing up an incredible trip. We just had our 4-year anniversary to put a little timestamp on this message, and it's been a great time. Had a chance to go watch the Seahawks game, hang out with some friends, do a little bit of training, do some connecting, and now we're here to be with our Las Vegas family. Have a great time. I have a real important message for you today that I really hope that you'll take a chance to study again and again and again. It's something I've thought about for quite some time now. And the other day I just kind of had this download. I don't remember, I was sitting in line going for a coffee or something, and it hit me that what determines your level of ability to achieve in your life is based on a word called capacity. And I really think that what's happened is that people have very limited capacities, their ability to handle. The word capacity comes from the maximum amount that you can receive or hold. That's your capacity. And I think for a lot of us, we have different thresholds of our capacity to uh, handle certain levels of pressure or fatigue or challenges. And I'm going to talk about this today because I really believe that every one of you need to do a personal inventory of your own capacity. And I'm going to give you 3 keys to increasing your capacity so you can achieve more in your life. Without a doubt, your life will be based upon how much you can handle, how many people you can impact in a day's time, in a week's time, in a month's time. And that ability to impact those lives is based upon what you can handle in your own personal thresholds. So many people start breaking down, and here's what happens. When you reach about 80% of your capacity, you begin to become self-absorbed. And what I mean by that is we get into self-preservation mode. We're at a mode where let's use an example, you're getting cold, okay? So you're getting colder and colder and colder, and you're chilly, it's kind of, all of a sudden you get to a point like, I have to do something, right? If I don't do something, then I'm going to be at risk. I'm going to be overwhelmed at 80%. And it's amazing how people have different levels of capacity. You take a Hawaiian and put them in a 70-degree weather and they're freezing, right? You take a person from Green Bay, you put them in 70 degrees and they're sweating. They have different capacities to handle certain temperatures. And so at 80% of whatever your threshold is, you begin to become self-absorbed. At 90%, you're virtually paralyzed. At 90% of capacity, you've redlined, you're well over the top, and now you're at a point where if I don't make some changes, if I don't do something now, I'm going to be screwed, brewed, and tattooed, if you will. I have to stop my function in order to deal with my needs. And I think if you take a look at this with respect to fatigue, at 80%, you start saying, okay, I need to take a break. I need to pull over. I need to stop working so hard because if I go any further, I'm going to be at risk. At 90%, I'm going to be a danger on the road. At 90%, I'm going to be exhausted, and so I need to get selfish. And so what happens in our relationships, in our emotional capacity, we hit this threshold and we start to get selfish. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. It isn't even a bad thing. It's just a reality. It's something that God put in us to help us survive, to recognize what our thresholds of breaking and cracking and breaking down are. So it's a good thing that we have this, because if not, we would just stay in the cold forever and ever and eventually just freeze. If we would just keep driving and driving and driving, eventually we just crash. We have this great part of our ability to recognize that we're reaching our capacity. The problem is for most people, their capacity is so low that they're never able to experience breakthrough. Because I think breakthrough happens at 80%. Most people at 80%, they begin to get into survival mode. 90% are shutting down. So between 80 and 90, they're either going to have breakthrough or breakdown. And that's got to be your choice. You have to decide what you're going to do when you hit 80%. And your 80% can be very minimal. I was at the airport yesterday and we were watching this couple just having a tizzy over getting coffee. And they were talking disrespectfully to each other and will you get it? Will you get it? Well, I'll go with you. If it's too much for you to carry, I'll go with you. And it's just this ridiculous, disrespectful conversation because of coffee, for God's sakes, right? A great mentor of mine said, you can tell the size of a person by the size of the things that make them mad. And to me, anger is defined as fear, meaning what? You're exercising control over me, so I'm going to take anger and I'm going to fight that because you're not the boss of me. You're not in control of me. My anger is fear, and fear is anger. So what are we dealing with here? Why am I afraid? what is going on. And that's the 80%. 80% drives us into these emotions that don't serve the greater good. We have these relationships in our life that are so critically important. Our spouses, our children, as the people that are closest to us. And it's amazing how our thresholds are so much less with them than we are with someone we don't know very well. Now, my coach used to do this funny skit where he'd say, you could be at home and you're on the phone with your buddy and you're like, yeah, bud, what? Oh, okay, yeah, no, I'll come help you with that. And we're working on that. And oh, just a minute. What? What? Honey, I'm on the phone. Okay, anyways, buddy, so, how's it going? And what? It's in the drawer. God. Okay, sorry, pal. Anyways, so why don't we work on getting together next week and we'll work on that garage project. And it's amazing how our threshold for those closest to us is borderline rude and disrespectful, and yet those that are outside our covenant relationships, we have this patience for, and it's really insane if you think about it. It almost defines it where we're doing the craziest of things that make no sense, but it's because we have different thresholds, different capacities that affect how we react. So I want to walk you through a couple things that I hope will help you increase your capacity, because I'm telling you, this is going to be the key. As I've mentored thousands of people, certainly over the last 30 years, and recognize why people break down. Why do they stop growing? Why do they stop working on the relationship? Why do they stop getting healthy? Why do they stop managing their finances? Why do they stop listening to audios and reading books and working on their personal development and connecting people? Why do they stop? And the reason is they've hit 80%. And so 80% becomes a stop rate. I got to think of me versus thinking of you. And as a result, I'm going to go to bed because I'm tired. I'm not going to deal with this because I've reached my capacity of, I'm exhausted and I can't go anymore. So we got to find ways to break through these 80% thresholds. The first one I'm going to tell you is you have to have some trust in your life. Okay? Trust is crucial. Now, I love Jesus, right? Not anybody that watches my podcast and so forth knows that. So from a perspective of my faith, I trust that my God is good and that he will give me the ability to accomplish all things. Not a few things, not some things, all things. And I believe that he will direct me and guide me and take care of things the way they need to be taken care of. And so many people, I think, they don't trust that it's going to work out, right? There's a really cool book that came out years ago called Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. Oh, and by the way, it's all small stuff. And it's amazing how we go through our life and our threshold becomes so minimal. So how do you measure this? Guys, first of all, trust that it's going to work out. And if it doesn't go the way you want it to go, it's going the way it's supposed to go. So you can what? Learn exactly what you need to learn to get exactly what you've asked for. You are exactly where you need to be. You're going through a situation to learn exactly what you need to learn for breakthrough to get exactly what you've asked for. And if you don't trust that, here's the problem. In preservation mode, we stop learning. We move into survival mode. We stop asking ourselves, what do I need to learn from experience? What do I need to change? What's going on around me that I can increase my capacity? What is it? How about my patience? How about the way I respond to you? I was watching this couple bicker, and well, you act this way, so I act that way. Since you did this, I can do this, and since you did this, I'll do this. And everybody blames their actions on someone else's action. Nobody makes you do anything. Now, it irritates me. People say, well, you make me. No, I don't make you anything, okay? You choose. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not responsible for my actions. If I act disrespectful and Shelly gets upset with me, I didn't make her upset. But I certainly contributed to an emotion that led her to being upset. So it doesn't mean I'm excused from my actions just because I said I didn't make you. Because you're right, I didn't make you. You chose to get upset. You could have said, hey, honey, what's going on? This is not like you. What's happening? Why are you acting this way? Or you could say, God, you're such a jerk. Why are you acting that way? Right? You make me so mad. You make me feel this way. Two different ways to handle it, right? And I'm not saying that Shell and I go through this. I'm sure we do a time or two. But nobody makes anybody feel. But if I'm acting in a way that she feels, that she has an emotion that's happening, then I need to be powerful enough to recognize that my actions are causing a certain reaction, or there's an action happening in her end that I'm a part of. And I own that, right? So increasing my capacity means managing me, right? It means it doesn't have to go the way I want it to go. Because if I don't allow myself to trust, then I won't take the time to dig in and ask why. I won't ask, what can I learn? What can I grow? What can I change? What's the famous quote about history? The one thing we learn from history is we learn a thing from our history. That if we don't learn from our history repeats itself. A man who does not learn from his past mistakes will surely return to himself. What is that? That's people that reach their capacity, 80, 90, breakdown, shutdown, failure, but never have any breakthrough because they don't learn from it. They don't grind on it. They don't ask themselves why, what. They don't say what is happening inside of me that's causing me to react to it. What are my thresholds? What am I not trusting? What am I not learning? Because in any environment, you have to have breakdown to have breakthrough, right? If you've ever been in the weight room, you've ever seen people running in the pools called resistance training, sprinters have parachutes behind them. Everybody has to have breakdown to have breakthrough. The question is, how far can you go before you have to get selfish and say, I'm done or I'm going to collapse? How far can you stretch that 80, 90%? And in your relationships, of course, a lot of it has to do with how well you respond to what appears to be disrespectful behavior, what appears to be something that feels hurtful. How do we begin to have breakthrough? So the first thing is you've got to create a level of trust, okay? Now, the unfortunate thing about trust is for some of us, myself hugely, I felt trusting meant they're getting away with being a mean person. I need to let them have it and let them know that I'm hurt. And if I don't know let them know I'm hurt, then they're getting away with it. And that's a problem. Because we feel that the only way breakthrough happens is if they change their behavior. And breakthrough happens when I'm able to manage me. Because on my best day, I can manage me. There's never a day I could manage you. So this increasing my threshold, increasing my capacity with, say, people in my business, and I'm watching them slow down and break down. How do we mentor people to be strong? We got to move in and say, what is it that's bothering you? What is it that's causing you to stop? What is it that's causing you to not move forward? And let's deal with those issues. Is there a trust issue? Is there a fear issue? Is there a confidence issue? What is it exactly that's grinding you into this stop mode? What is your 80% that says, I can't go any further? And how do we increase that in a way that you can actually have revelation, which means what? Completely reinventing how you think. So the first thing is, when you reach 80%, you've got to move into trust. That's number one. Number two, we've got to find a way to increase your limits, okay? So, as an example, if you've ever been in the weight room, or if you've ever been in any kind of training, you know when you're getting tired. You know when you've reached 60, 70, and now you're coming up on 80. The question is, can you do one more? Can you do two more? Can you do three more? Can you push through so that today's ceiling is tomorrow's floor? That's setting new limits. Because that is the plan for our life. We break through ceilings and we stand on that to become the floor for tomorrow. That's the idea. So you may think, well, I need my 8 hours of sleep. Well, maybe you do, maybe you don't. Who am I to argue that? I'm saying, have you tried, worked hard at it, and really tried to work on increasing it to only 6 hours of sleep by vitamins, by hydration, by proper mental preparation for sleep, whether that be prayer or meditation or something that puts you in a state where you're more peaceful, or do you go to bed with your mind racing so you don't really sleep well? Maybe you only get a couple hours of REM out of 8 or 9 hours, but maybe you get 3 or 4 hours of REM out of 6 hours if you did some preparation. Have you looked into the things that might have a higher quality sleep than less quality sleep? Agreed? When it comes to strength, right? If we're pushing things, have you tried more hydration? Have you tried more protein? Have you tried more nutrition? Have you tried warm-up sets? Have you tried different things? When it comes to relationships, right? What's my capacity? When do I start freaking out? When do I start blaming? When do I start getting angry? Well, what is it? Have you tried reading more books on relationships? Have you tried getting counsel with people that know what they're doing, that teach you how to handle what feels disrespectful in a way that doesn't respond disrespectful? Because if you think it's okay to respond like with like, you're wrong. Their actions do not justify your reactions. Your actions are your actions. No one makes you do it, and you can't blame anybody for what you do. It's all yours. So how do we break through this? How do we break through these different thresholds? You've got physical thresholds of sleep, of work, of bravado. How do we get stronger? We get to 80, and we trust that I've got more. And you try to stretch it another 5 or 10%. And if you can stretch 5% per week over the next 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12 weeks, you've increased your capacity radically. When it comes to the emotional side of things, right? We kind of have this first step, I got this, right? I got this. And then after a while, you're like, well, wait a minute. That's not fair. And then we get into this fair thing, like, well, I'm doing more, you're doing more, right? You're pushing me, and it's not fair. And then we begin to move into the give up, which is the anger and the depression side of things, and we begin to just completely shut down and say, forget it, here we go again. And we experience that residual compilation projection scenario, right? Here we go again. We've been through this so many times. There's a residue. Man, look at this pile of times we've been through this exact situation. There's your compilation. And then we project. We say, here we go again. Oh my gosh, it's going to happen again. And we go through this whole dialogue of what you think's going to happen based upon what has happened so many times. Residue, compilation, projection. It's so common in the way we deal with things. So how do we have breakthrough in that? First of all, you can't have residue. It's the first time this has ever happened for the third time. This is the first time it happened for the ninth time. You got to have that kind of breakthrough where you're recognizing every individual situation is an individual situation. You never have this 10th, 15th time. I'm a counter. And this has been a big thing for me because I keep track, and I shouldn't. And it's an area of great opportunity for me to experience breakthrough. And every time I fail, every time I have a challenge in my life that isn't good, I go, this is a great opportunity to learn. I love hitting my 90%. Blowing it, let me put it this way, I don't love it. But I love the fact that I'm able to say, okay, what can I take away from this? And how do I avoid this from happening again? There are some people that do not want to do this. They just want to live in that anger spot. They want to live in that misery spot. They want to live in that victim spot. When it's not fair, and I have the right to be mad, and I'm going to disconnect, and I'm going to I'm never going to sponsor anybody. I'm never going to find anybody. And you begin to project this future because you don't learn. You're exactly where you need to be to learn exactly what you need to learn to get exactly what you've asked for. What are you asking for? Favor, breakthrough, strength, confidence, prosperity, favor. How are you going to get there? You got to get to 80, 90 and break through, not break down. That's it. And so when I fail, it's the greatest opportunity for me to go, why did I fail? Shelly and I had a little tiff the other day, I don't know, 4 or 5 days ago. And I'll be honest with you, it's my fault. And I said, how can we learn from this? And she was pretty mad. She's like, I'm not ready to break through in this yet. I'm like, okay, when can we get there? She wanted to kind of manifest in being frustrated with me for a while, and I said some things that hurt her feelings to a point where she was like, I just need a minute. I'm like, okay, I get that. All right, let's just take some time. And of course, me, 20 minutes later, you ready yet? And by then she was, and we had this huge breakthrough about how to handle when we're really, really tired, and that's usually when we get a little bit edgy tears and we're fatigued and we're going and we're pushing, and then something happens, and then right, you know how it goes. It's like the same thing: residual, compilation, projection. So you're never perfect because guess what? We're all striving to have deeper levels of breakthrough, deeper levels of capacity, the ability to receive or contain more. That's what capacity is. And your life, your income, your impact will be in direct proportion to your capacity. And if you look around your life and you're not happy with the financial side of your life, if you're not happy with the physical side of your life, if you're not happy with the financial side of life, you know what you have to do? You have to increase your capacity. And the only time it's going to happen is when you reach 80% to 90% and you break through versus breaking down. Problem is, every time you get to 80, 90%, you break down, there's no opportunity for breakthrough. So do you understand what I'm saying? Where you exactly where you need to be to learn exactly what you need to learn, to get exactly what you've asked for? This is such a huge thing. If we're talking about financial breakthrough, what's it going to take? Sacrifice. What's it going to take? Discipline. What's it going to take? Obedience. All those words sound like pain. Like I have to go without. Well, that might be the case. If you want breakthrough, then you got to make some choices. If I'm going to have breakthrough in a relationship, I will tell you, here's the secret. No matter what happens, you must protect the love in your relationship. You must protect it. You must protect that covenant. And if you say things or do things that jeopardize that love, then you're increasing anxiety. And when you increase anxiety, you decrease love. That's just the simple way it goes. It's a zero-sum type thing. Increase anxiety, decrease love. Decrease anxiety, increase love. So when things are happening and they're not going the way you want them to, you have to find a way to increase your capacity of internal covenant saying, I'm not going to react. I'm going to find a way to say, I'm a little upset and I'm not exactly sure how to express myself, but I'd like to. My feelings are hurt. You didn't hurt my feelings. My feelings are hurt. That's the difference. I feel this when this happened, and I'd like for you to evaluate that. And then the recipient of that conversation needs to be able to say, okay, I understand how you feel. Okay. You can't say, yeah, but you did this and I did that. Well, I'm doing this because that. You can't. No. There's none of that. You must protect the relationship. Both people are required to protect the love, to protect the relationship, because it is under assault on a constant basis. So I just can't even say with enough importance that you got to have this covenant that no matter what I say or what I do, I'm going to protect. And when I fail, I'm the first to jump in and say, wait a minute, this relationship's way more important than this issue. How can we make this right? I'm sorry. I'm sorry I did this. I'm excited about moving forward in this. This is how you increase the capacity of your relationship, okay? So point number one, you've got to live in a place of trust. And whether you believe in God or not, that's going to be up to you, okay? But you better believe in something that says it's all good and it always works out and you're exactly where you need to be to learn exactly what you need to learn to get exactly what you've asked for. Number two, you've got to increase your levels of what that 80-90%. You've got to increase those limits. You've got to learn to make today's ceiling tomorrow's floor. And the third thing is you've got to work on what you confess, your spoken word. This is such a huge area, right? God's word in the Proverbs says the power of life and death lies in the tongue. We speak life into existence. What we say becomes life. And I hear some people saying things like, can't. It's become my new pet peeve. Because I hear it all the time on Voxer, people saying, well, I'm sorry I couldn't make it. No, you chose not to make it. More than likely. Let's as an organization decide to stop saying the word can't. Let's make it throw a quarter in the jar every time you say can't. How about owning the fact that you made a different choice? I'm sorry I couldn't make it. Now how about saying, I'm sorry I didn't make it. I had other priorities that I had to do. You see, what that says is I'm owning it. It's not that I'm powerless. Can't is powerless. I was a victim of what went on, and I couldn't. As compared to saying, you know what? I could have, but I chose different priorities. And I need to think that through because I don't think those priorities honor our relationship, or they do honor it. Because in reality, there are times when you won't make it. There are times that you are not going to make it. There's times that things are going to go differently, right? That you're not able to make it. But instead of saying can't, saying, I'm really sorry I didn't. I'm really sorry that happened. I had to make some choices. I hope you can appreciate the choices I made. And if not, let's talk about it because you're important to me. Let's stop saying can't. Let's stop saying try. All right? Oh, I'll try. It reminds me of this new do good thing called do your best. Do your best means lie exhausted on the field of battle knowing you've used every resource possible. But do your best has become this thing that's like this bailout that I tried. You try? What does that mean, try? I don't even know. What did Yoda say? Try? Try not. Only do. Why would you always try? Right? A little Yoda lesson there. But why is it that we use the try? Why is it we use this can't? We can do all things. Stop being a victim and blaming things on I'll try. Try is like until it gets really challenging. Try is until I get a bead of sweat. Try is until I'm fatigued. Try is until someone laughs at me. Try is until someone says, oh, that'll never work. That is not try. Well, that is try, I guess I would say. But trying is not enough. You decide what you want, you might find a way to go get it. and attack life and attack these issues. I let the guy say, well, I hope so. What do you mean you hope so? I love hope. I believe in the audacity of hope. But to me, that sounds like someone saying, if everything lines up and it's not super hard and there's no inconveniences and nothing gets in the way, I'll make it. I'll be there. I'll do it. Hope so is a powerful thing to say as long as you mean I will do everything possible within my extreme capacity to make it happen. Not if the clouds are aligned and Venus and Pluto and Mars are all in the same. Garbage. It's not about luck. It's about this decision to go the distance and work hard, right? This whole thing is, it's all about I'm not committed and I'm powerless. You are not powerless. And yes, I believe sometimes you're not committed, but let's change that. I want you to win. I want you to be a champion. I want you to be able to say, I'm tough enough. Too tough for you, just right for me. Too cold for you, just right for me. You're tired, I'll drive. That's the hardest job ever, perfect for me. I'll volunteer for the gnarly jobs. I'll go the gnarly distances. I'll do whatever. Why? Because I know I'm increasing my capacity. I'm not taking the easy road. I'm not taking the gentle road. I'm taking the road that gets me where I want to get because I want to earn the title king. I want to earn the title warrior. I want to earn the title champion. Because when everybody else was sleeping, I was going. When everybody else was thinking they needed 5, 6, 7 hours of sleep, I was running on 3 or 4. People say, oh, that's crazy. You think you're going to create a 0.1% income bracket on being anything less than crazy? You're a fool. There's a reason it's 0.1%. Because you're willing to outwork 99.9% of the people ever try. Do you think that's going to be based on convenience? No. You think that's going to be based on hope? No. You think that's going to be based on anything but stretching your maximum capacity? Guys, we're talking about changing the world. We're talking about anybody ever bears your name living a life of significance. We're talking about setting something in motion that lasts for generations. We're talking about being so significant there are books and hospital wings and libraries named after people that do great things like you. And if you don't see it that big, well, that's okay. Maybe it's just the fact that you're able to provide a life for your wife and for your kids that never would have happened if you hadn't stretched your capacity and increased your ability. This is what I'm talking about. It's being willing to speak, I am an overcomer. I am a champion. I'm not tired. I don't get jet lag. I get jet advance. I don't get colds. I get warms. And I never have it. Right now you can probably hear my voice. My body's overcoming a warm. Before a couple days ago, it was trying to get a warm. And then it had it, and as soon as I had it, I'm already overcoming it. I never have it. It's coming or it's going, but I never have it. And when it was coming, I was resistance. I'm I'm strong, I'm healthy, I'm confident, I'm bold, I got everything it takes. And then finally I wake up like, I'm already overcoming. I never, ever have it. It's already on its way. Why? Because I'm the captain of my vessel. Because I determine how it's going to go from my life. I believe the power of life and death lies in my spoken word. And I'm going to speak life over the things that I want to take ownership of. And God gave me the ability through free will to claim my future. Guys, you have got to learn to increase your capacity. Next time you're feeling tired, say, I'm increasing my capacity. Next time you're not sure you have the courage or confidence or strength to go ahead and do what you got to do in your business, say, I'm increasing my capacity. This is the moments. It's the Bud Fox looking in the mirror in Wall Street, about to go meet Gordon Gekko, and he looks in the mirror and he sharpens up his tie and says, well, Bud Fox, life boils down to a few special moments, and I guess this is one of them. You have the opportunity every single day to stretch yourself, every single day to increase your threshold, every single day to prove to yourself that you're a winner, that you're a champion, that you're tough. What are you going to do? What are you going to do to become great? To set the new limits for anybody that's around you of what's acceptable, of what you can do in a day. You set the table. Today's ceiling, tomorrow's floor. You are great. You are capable. You have the capacity. You just got to learn to increase it. I believe in you. This has been my life's mission. I'm not perfect. I'm working on it every day. I don't mind admitting my failures. I don't mind admitting that I'm not always perfect in my communication. I get that. You can either look at that as a positive or negative. All I know is we're going to win, and you're going to win. because you're willing to go deeper and stronger so you can go higher to reach more people. I love you guys. Have a great week. Let's tear this thing up. Increase your capacity. See you soon.